Before I was 25 years old, I lost four really close friends. Andrew died when I was 16. He was probably 16, maybe 15. Cardiac arrest in his sleep. Jamie died with complications from diabetes in his sleep. One of my closest friends from high school named Daniel, he was murdered on Valentine's Day when I was maybe 22. And another guy named Dan died in a car accident when I was 23. When you have that many friends pass away that young, it kind of does something to you. I think part of it is really healthy. Part of it is really not. The part that's healthy is that I don't think we pay enough attention to the fact that we're all going to die. It's almost comical to think about how few of us actually have grappled with our mortality. The part that isn't good is that if you are too fixated on that, you don't play the long game, right? There's an important gap between the two. But I learned from all these experiences that you can never predict how long you got. So I've been talking about this philosophy with clients this week because it matters. Most of us that are ambitious, that are chasing, that are willing to do what it takes to make big dreams happen. If you're an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? We build the business initially out of this ideal of what we want our life to be. We think about travel, we think about money, we think about, cars and shit like that. And then pretty quickly being relative, like, when you build a business that has enough to sort of overcast what you're used to, something weird starts to happen. We get fixated on more than moving the goalpost because we think that more will ultimately get us the initial lifestyle that we imagine. In some ways, it might be true. We might imagine a bigger lifestyle than our paycheck is. But here's what's interesting. Two great books that I would highly recommend. One is called Die with Zero. The other is called The Second Mountain. Oh, balloons. Amazing. Congratulations. And both of these books really help put more context to what I'm about to share with you. But my belief system is that we live for two particular objectives. So the first is the there that we're all chasing. Whatever your there is, you can think about it. That might be a money amount, might be a revenue amount, it might be a weight, a body physique style. Like there's so many different theirs that we imagine. Then what happened is we imagine when I get there or after I get there, that kind of stays off in the distance. It's like the cast and crew in a movie. Like no one really pays attention to that. And if you only pay attention to the there, what you'll notice is that every time you move it forward and get closer to it, you push it further away. So you might say, well, I want the business to make $500,000 in revenue, then $1 million in revenue, then $3 million in revenue, then $10 million in revenue. It just keeps growing. And the demand on you as the leader of that continues to rise. Well, here's where it gets really interesting. We talk about like playing small, playing big. To me, playing small is moving the goalpost. Playing big is actually addressing the when I get there, the piece that is more abstracted and tougher to pin down. Most people have a when I get there that's really amazing. I bet yours is too. The thing that you would do in retirement, right? We imagine this as like retirement. We think about writing a book or learning to dance or starting a scholarship fund, going and volunteering, impacting others, all of these things. And I think there's just so much to really dissect about why that is and why we push it off. So, in that version of us, we aspire to more. We aspire to fulfillment. We aspire to impact. We aspire to community, and and it just really shines as a great example of what matters to us. And yet, if we play the like their game, we just keep moving the goalposts. We never actually begin this process. Some of these things take time. Writing a book takes time. Starting a podcast takes time. My strategy for my entire life, I quit my job in May of 2015. And my thesis then was I'm going to take everything I want to be in retirement and I'm going to make it my business plan. And in doing that, I had to take the theirs and remove them and then just do the when I get there. Because the when I get there was, I'd coach soccer, I'd go teach kids about money, I'd build a tech company, it was essentially a fintech company. I would coach other people, I'd take everything that I've learned to give it back, I'd start a podcast, I'd write a book. All of those things have been done. But it's a weird inverted order. It's an inverted order because the objective was to say, well, what is there? And I never really bought into like, I need to be at a certain place to do these things. I just went straight to just the things I want to do. And that philosophy is really unique, not because I feel very special, but because it takes into consideration that you may not live very long and you might live to be 80. That doesn't seem like very long. Not to me after how fast this last year is going. You might live to be 100. You might live to be 50. I don't know where you're at in your journey. You might live 2 more years. You just never fucking know. And this principle of like, can you write down what you would do when you get there? Whatever you told yourself, make $1 million, get 20,000, 200,000 followers, make 20 grand a month. It's like we look for the like permission to live the life that we want, the permission to have what we want, to dream, to play big, to go after what matters. And then when it doesn't get there right away, we just keep extending the goal and goal and goal, and then we never actually do the thing. Having some friends lose their lives really early has certainly made it very clear that I have got to pay more attention to the things I would do now. And the book, The Second Mountain, is really good because it helps sort of put this in perspective. Here's the tactical thing that I like to do. I like to imagine that $10 million just got transferred into my account and I've just sold my business. And I'm not allowed to start up another business in the same space. Right now, that's coaching. I imagine that will be coaching for a while. So I can't start another business in the same space. And I can't work again for 2 years. So sold the business, 10 mil, can't work in the space for 2 years, and can't start another business in the same space, right? So random conditions. Then I'm like, well, what would I do for 2 years? And just journaling out about that helps a lot. I think that if you find what you love and you would do then, you really have some traction for building a business, building a venture, building your next thing. Because the thing that you come up with is naturally going to have a lot of passion involved with it. So I don't know where you're at. Maybe your business is killing it. Maybe it's killing it and you're miserable. It's possible that you're killing it and you feel fulfilled and you're happy to get up every day and you're happy to work with your team because you've hired great people. You're happy to pursue the like problem solving mechanism. You're excited to solve the day-to-day challenges and you're excited about the mundane things that you have to do over and over and over. If you're not, though, this question will help you reorient. You can't work. You've just sold your business, 10 million in the bank. You can't build the same kind of business. You can't work for 2 years. Like, what do you do? And most people think that they would love to not work. You would go insane. Most people say they want financial freedom. Freedom for what? Like, what would you do? You would go insane not working for 2 years. You'd have to have something, some kind of worthy pursuit, some sort of worthy cause. Otherwise, you're going to wither away. Something I think about a lot, and we've talked about this with almost every client. It's really awesome when really powerful entrepreneurs dig into this question. So, what would you do in that case? What would you spend your time on? What would be worthy to you? What would be important to you? What would be meaningful for you? Because if you don't have meaning, you're you're stuck in the wheel. That's the rat race. Working with no meaning. I'll see you on the next one. Good night.